we are not your grandmothers and grandfathers in NAACP. And I know some chapters that's what I think of. We wanted to make this organization that already existed, that had a name, to see if we could make it work more effectively for justice in our community. Well, for people outside this local area may not quite understand. In 2010 November, the NAACP had its we elect officers every 2 years, and the state president came in and tried to sabotage our election to keep his friend in office. And Mr. Bass was head of the election supervisory committee at that time, and so he had him escorted from the building. He went back. The state president got with the people at the national, and we've got people at the national that are not good people. But so is the case in your church, so is the case in anything. So they said that they were suspending the election. So we said no. And so Mr. Bass filed, we filed a lawsuit against the NAACP. We took against the original president of the NAACP, and the judge ruled in our favor and upheld our election. Now, the name on the lawsuit is Hubert Bass as a member and as president of the Crittenden County Election Supervisory Committee, which is similar to an election commissioner in any county or state, and versus the former president in her official capacity. So Mr. Bass filed the lawsuit. His name is on it. I actually filed the lawsuit and paid the lawyer myself, but his name is on the lawsuit. Over the next 6 years, the NAACP national and state has done everything it could do to invalidate our chapter, but particularly me. It really never went after the chapter, specifically went after me. They suspended my membership. We had to put a stop to that. They suspended our charter. This is in 2011. They refused to honor our membership applications. I mean, they've done it. They say that we don't have enough members when we do. Just anything to do to devalue us. So during the lawsuit in 2015, the judge, the local circuit judge, ruled that they pay us $100,000 and $20,000 in legal fees. They appealed. On March the 15th, 2017, the Arkansas Court of Appeals upheld the decision, but by now with interest, that $100,000 is now $117 plus, and that $20,000 in legal fee is now almost $24,000. Now keep in mind, we've already paid our attorney. So our attorney decided he wanted to take our money. So he set up a scenario. He needed a member, Mr. Bass was a member, never an officer, to say that he was dissatisfied and concerned that we wouldn't use the money properly, okay? Then he got, our lawyer was lawyer Bill Llewellyn. He also had to have a judge to sign an order to take that money, which was his friend Tanya Alexander. He admitted to us in a meeting that he turned that money over to her, and she did. So the problem started with me and Mr. Bass. We worked together for 7 years. Not a problem ever. But until the money was about to come, then we had a problem. So now he claims that money should go to him. I'm not only claiming, but the documents from the court states that the money goes to the Crittenden County NAACP, not to an individual, not to me, not to a member, not to Mr. Bass. So one of us is lying, and it's not me. But Mr. Bass is one of the brightest and smartest lawmakers that I've ever seen. Never had a problem in 7 years until money got involved. So that's the reality there. There's more to it than that, but not really much more. And we've been to court several times, and after we won our case, then we had to go back to court to ask the court to force our attorney to give us our money. And when the court did that, then they filed another suit saying that the judge was racist. So then we had to go back all over again and get another judge. And so we won the case, but people ask me, are you bothered? Well, obviously you don't want that kind of thing to happen, but along the way, you find out who is with you and who's not. And in any evolutionary process or revolutionary process, the weak, the crooked, the insane, all that has to expose itself so that you'll know which way to go. And it's an unavoidable consequence of being politically active. Those people say, well, I don't get involved because people are crazy. Well, I mean, people will always be crazy. Nothing you can do about it. Let me put it in context. The natural response to oppression is revolution. When a oppressed people fail to revolt and rebel against their oppression, they become a part of their own oppression. Very simple. Revolution is changing from status quo to an idealized reality. And the process is all the drama, the strategies, the resources that all the personalities that go into making that happen. Matter of fact, I think but that process is always going on inside the human spirit. It's always going on. We're always changing. We're always evolving. And if somebody came up to you to try to do harm to you, you would take a defensive posture and rebel and revolt against it. And if you don't, then you become a slave. So it's a good word. That's the American Revolution, as it's called, in 1776, birthed in the United States of America. So it can't be a bad thing. Matter of fact, read the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson's words, even though he was a slave owner and he was duplicitous in his meaning, but it's very clear. It says that when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for us to dissolve the bonds that bound us together, it becomes our responsibility, not an option, it becomes our responsibility to make war and to rebel against that power. If not, our God-given rights, I think he says inalienable rights, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, you won't have those unless you take on a rebellious and revolutionary position. Yes, I love to talk about revolution.